Here I was very happy. This is what I said here. I said, yes, those honest postmortems are really awesome. I just wanted to give the devs who wrote this postmortem a shout out, especially when they're as honest and straightforward as the last one about the Junior Threat event. To me, they embody the level of transparency that I am expecting from this company. We get to know exactly what worked, what didn't work, and what the devs learned in order to avoid repeating their mistakes. And it's okay to make mistakes as long as you learn from them. And they give a clear view of future objectives to accomplish and make me look forward to seeing what the devs will do to improve. It's good stuff. Thank you, CIG. Let's have a look as of why this is good stuff right here. And especially what I really liked, and we're going to go over that here, is the what didn't go so well. Especially this was written here by Tony Z here. Tony Z absolutely owned that postmortem. Let's give a round of applause here. Even Failure to Report was impressed by the postmortem, so that hats off to CIG. Oh wow, I'm gonna have to check it out. I'm your old girlfriend. So shout out here to CIG and especially Tony Z here for that very honest postmortem, and it's great to see that they are acknowledging their mistakes and they're going to figure out what to do to go further, and especially. I'm pretty sure you guys have already read all that, so I'm going to put the link in the description down below if you have not. But what I really liked was the what didn't go so well, because it was really funny, especially especially some of the quotes here. I mean, it really felt like we could have said exactly the same thing. So what didn't go so well here? According to Tony Z, dynamic events are a huge feat of management and their delivery relies on multiple departments. That is true. The dialogue added a lot to the mission, but getting in was a big undertaking with long lead times to deliver it, and the mission triggers. There was insufficient time to get the actual lines into the fully functioning mission and iterate on proper changes. We did get placeholder lines earlier, but due to feature that triggered them was still not fully functioned. Also, that's interesting. So the lines here did not work so well. That's very interesting. More time spent on prototyping would have been extremely beneficial, particularly for the Starfarer derelicts, which were not always very working well. That is also true. That is also true. Here, this is what I'm interested in here. The feedback from the community that they are acknowledging. Finally, they are acknowledging feedback from the community. There was a lot of feedback from the community on aspects of the events that could have been better. Players weren't even made aware of how long Phase 3 would remain active and were surprised when it came to it. Correct. I was very shocked to see it just took a few days. I was hoping Phase 2 would last for 2 weeks and Phase 3 would last for 2 weeks as well, right? It was extremely short. Better information to manage expectation would have improved the situations. Correct. Even terminology regarding phases was confusing at times with differences between how things were referred to internally that was described to backers on Spectrum's feedback threads. Correct. It was very important, right? That it's very important that you keep the same terminology all the time everywhere. That is correct. We knew from the beginning that performance would be a limiting factor. That is also correct. Some players found the Idris far too easy to kill, and when this happened, it derailed Phase 3 significantly. Correct. With the right loadouts, Typhoon torpedoes, a single retaliator could drop the shields of an Idris, and multiple players could kill it within just a few minutes. Correct. Rapid mission finishing and a long cooldown meant players trying to do the mission struggled to find a servers with it active, and when they did, to get there in time to participate. That is true. This has happened to me so many times. Thank you, Tony Z, for acknowledging that as well. In addition, the Idris offered almost no threat to players, and when it did, it didn't kill quickly, mostly acting as a bullet sponge, with many players mentioning it holding still and continuously fire. Correct as well. Oh my gosh, Tony Z being absolutely spot on here, guys. Tony Z is absolutely spot on and knows exactly what went on. That is great, because if they know it, they are going to fix it for next time, and that is fantastic. Hostility detection and crime stat determination are still too simplistic. Yes! Thank God for that. With no modifier for shared mission participants, whether the ship hit its target or any link to target it with all. With so many ships in close proximity in a complex scenario, friendly fire was frequent and often resulted in players accidentally getting a crime stat, being dumped from the mission and sent to prison unfair death. Correct. Oh, this, come on, guys. And this is going to be the giveaway question, by the way, for this particular video. How many of you guys have been sent to prison after hitting for the people by accident? Let me know in the chat down there. In the comment section, sorry for in the YouTube video. That is going to be the giveaway question. Have you been sent to prison during the event because you accidentally fired on people? This had happened to me, not in the live, but in the PTU, this happened to me plenty of times. There you go. Jeremiah says, me, MK2389 says is also raising hand, right? It sucked, absolutely. And I'm so happy to see Tony Z here acknowledging that. We wanted to allow players to complete freedom to choose which side to support. There was insufficient time. This caused problems when many PvP-oriented players took upon themselves to attack players attending the event. This was most prevalent in Phase 2. Since the event didn't support this, however, there were few ways for mission participants to prevent our candidates, resulting in some strong opinions on either side. Oh my gosh, it was a battle. It was a shitstorm on Spectrum. Most players just left those servers to find one without PvP. On our end, we're thinking about how we can support both playstyles. Correct, this is going to come with the Ninetales event. They did talk about this. They are going to allow players to participate on both sides in the Ninetales events, but it was very eye-opening for CIG. I am glad again to see that they are saying that. Many players mentioned poor client frame rate during both combat phase. Oh my gosh, how many frames have you had? I dropped to below 10 frames per second at some times. In addition, there were numerous reports of mission-critical assets loading slowly, including red sites, supply ships, Xenothreat fighters, and FPS AI, which loaded in after players started clearing cargoes at time. Oh, that is so funny. I have not experienced that, but can you imagine? Like, the ships are empty and then the AI spawn and no one comes in. That would have been funny. As opposed to Phase 2, Phase 3 was singularly focused on ship combat. This meant that alternative playstyles such as salvage and FPS combat were not able to contribute, which caused considerable consternation and frustration among some players who, of course, are not combat-oriented. But I think that's okay. I think that we need to give something to all kinds of players. We gave the cargo haulers and the salvagers something to do in Phase 2, and then they gave something for combat players to do in Phase 3. I think that's okay here. I think that's okay. Dang, this was a true stress test if none of these issues were expected by CIG. It was MK2389, and it's great. It's great that we were a part here, that we were part of this. Look at that. That is also true. AI fighters wiggled, warped, teleported, flew erratically, and generally offered no threats, with player frequently calling them cannon fodder. Yes. Yes! Yeah, Tony Z again, totally spot on. That is exactly what happened. In addition, players frequently mentioned how low their numbers seemed. Yeah, there were not a lot of AI, limiting the sense of danger. AI fighters also seemed to like aggressive behavior, such as targeting cargo ships or bombers, and sometimes ignored incoming damage in the process. Yes, the AI was not very smart during the event. Players did talk about it, they are aware of it, and hopefully they are going to also work on that. This makes me so happy to read that, guys. I don't know what you guys think, but this makes me so happy, and I am glad, because it makes me feel that, this is what it makes me feel, guys. This makes me feel that our play sessions or tests when we were playing the event was not for nothing. This, the fact that they are acknowledging our experience in the verse doing the event shows that they are learning from what we did, that what we did really contribute to something, and it really did help. And this is why I'm backing this project. That's originally, the level of transparency that I've always been looking for. The players and the devs working hand by hand or hand in hand, working together in order to achieve, progress regarding the creation of this game. This is exactly what this is about, and that's why I'm loving what I'm reading here. Torpedo spam dominated Phase 3 and was further encouraged by massive payouts 4 hits. Yes, that's true. The addresses often fail to properly count them, and the simplistic nature of their use, lock, launch, done, contributed heavily to the easy feeling of Phase 3. The law and hostility system needs significant work, especially with regards to potentially friendly fire and accidental damage. Including in this are why people apply a crime stat, how charges are pressed, how hostility is determined, how a throughout discussion of how to better identify friends and foe. That should include distinctions and markers for players on the mission, counter-mission players if appropriate, aggressive players, hostile players, criminals, and factions where appropriate. That is good. We are going to see all of that improvement in the future. I am so glad to read in that. What they will do in the future here, there are several issues called out above that we are actively discussing and plan to address for future events. Over the coming weeks, we'll look at each piece of feedback in turn and discern how to address them, which teams will work on when and where they fit into the schedule. Issues with performance, AI, PvP design, and the law system are in the forefront of our mind to ensure that these events are as good as they can be. Thank you, Tony. Thank you so much. We also have a couple of more feedback here from Francisco Roccucci, who is the AI director, and also Rich Towler, lead game designer for the vehicle team experience. But overall here, the main part, the juicy part of this postmortem was from Tony Z. I absolutely love here the return of our own feedback, the fact that they're acknowledging it again, using what we say to make some improvement. This is exactly what I want to see, and I hope that this is the first postmortem like this out of many to come, where exactly our experiences will be reflected on by the devs to go further in the future. Bravo, says MK2389. That is also what I'm saying here. Bravo. This video is brought to you by the people who support this channel on Patreon and via the join button as well. Supporters of the channel get access to lots of cool perks, such as access to my private Discord, your question answered in the show, you get to know when I'm going to play, and also you get to have a chance to influence the editorial line of the channel. Any help is appreciated, starts at just $1 a month. Thank you very much for watching. This is The Eradicator, and I'll see you guys later.